call over to my good friend Julie Gorham and her extremely intelligent guest that is going to share some words of wisdom about what we can do with this product at this time in a lot of different markets. So listen good, take notes. Julie, take it away.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for being here. You know, I just want to say that the amount of people listening in is truly, truly extraordinary. And I hope everyone's taking notes. I've been taking notes. There's been some amazing nuggets of wisdom shared. And I hope that we're going to try and keep it short, John, but I hope that in the next 10, 13 minutes, myself and the guest who's going to be on with me can give you some more golden nuggets. And if you don't have a pen, or you're like me, you're on your other computer taking some notes, get ready, because he's a dear colleague, 100%. He's a dear colleague here in corporate Immunotec. We all love him very much, and he's near and dear to everybody's heart in Canada. One of our original Immunotec corporate colleagues, who just has spent his entire career making sure that the ethics that this company represents through its research, through its development, are maintained, are upheld today as they were back then. Our quality control is impeccable, but our scientific research is always still always has been impeccable. When we say, you know, almost 45 years of scientific research, this man has held the key to that, and what that means for us, going on probably 25 years now. I love hearing him speak. Every time I get to hear him speak, I learn something. Every time he comes to the office and sits down in my office, I learn something. He's just that person I call when I need a boost. He's that person I call when I need a solution. He's the person I call when I need a friend, and I know he is to many of you. So John Molson, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for taking the time to sit and chat with me once again. And you know, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm going to pick your brain for just a few minutes here, John, because I know everybody, we wouldn't need the mute button right now, because I know every time you share with us, you can hear a pin drop. So how you doing, Mr. Molson?
Very well. It's great to be here.
It's a sunny day in Montreal, Canada. I know Keith Hooper is seeing the sun on my face, John, seeing it on yours as well, and he's over there in California wondering what happened to Canada. But thanks for taking some time to come in and speak to us. And John and I are going to throw an aspect out there for everybody. Of course, as most people know, when John and I get together, we talk cycling, we talk sports, we talk, you know, the human performance that is empowered through regular consumption of Immunocal. So John, thanks for being here. And, you know, I think one of the reasons we all love hearing John and is because you simplify it. You know, we can hear many wonderful professionals from all different realms of life speak about our products, speak about our history, about our research. But John, when you share with us, you break it down into ways that we all, mere mortals, people who don't have science degrees, people who don't have medical degrees, you break it down really in a way that we can all understand. And that's our purpose here today, you and I. So if you could help me out, help everybody out who's listening right now. You know, we always hear that Immunocal is great for athletes. We hear about the work that Immunotec does with elite athletes, professional athletes, Olympic athletes. I'm not sure if anybody on this call is an Olympic athlete, but we certainly want to know the benefits. So could you help me out today and, you know, maybe focus on or explain in that amazing and special way that only you do on the 3 key aspects of how supplementing, I'll say your diet, your daily diet with Immunocal could impact athletic performance?
Sure. Thank you, Julie. Well, everybody heard Maurizio speak some very wise words to begin with when he talked about we're designed to move. So we may not be Olympic athletes, but we're all designed to move, and we're all athletic. And living life as an athletic event. So when we talk about sports, athletic performance, there's some key catchphrases or terms. It doesn't matter if you're an Olympic champion or if you're a gym rat, if you're a weekend warrior, they can focus in on. And these are things that have come out through our research that we've done on our own and through our collaboration with Oracle over the last 10 years. So there's kind of three key areas that I would focus on with regard to presenting athletic performance. And the first one, the one that everybody understands is muscle strength and explosiveness. And this is a concept that's easy to grasp, and it's important for elite athletes as well as the active senior, because with regard to fitness in seniors, the mortality has been tied into strength, not muscle size, but muscle strength. So, to give the research we've done some context, when I spoke with Dr. Brian Moore many years ago, when we started collaborating with him, I asked Brian, what are the key things that attracted you to Immunotec? And his first response was the fact that we have clinical research. So both of the studies that I'm going to quote have been published in the medical literature, and were double-blind using placebo. So those are, very unique and very expensive to do. And this gives us a unique platform to talk about performance. So in 1999, we published our first paper. And in that paper, Dr. Lanz wrote, and I quote, "This is the first study to demonstrate that prolonged supplementation with a product designed to augment antioxidant defenses has improved muscle performance." So you can imagine that this is the first time this has been shown, and it was done with our product. So in that study, they measured both peak power, so absolute power, together with 30-second work capacity. So you think, again, about all the different sports that require that. And we were able to increase that by an average of about 13%. So when we think about the different sports that may use that type of characteristic of human performance, we can think about sprinting, we can think about swimming, football, hockey, etc. Now, when you tell an athlete in sports that require these characteristics, that all things being equal, Immunocal will give you up to a 13-point advantage. That's huge to an athlete, to a weekend warrior. That's a significant gain. The second study was published in 2014, and it was done in elderly subjects. And again, we showed that Immunocal in a model of resistance exercise improved strength by a factor of 10%. So these numbers are exceptional. And you don't run into this type of thing every day with regard to, studies, products, etc. And when we see the data, it all but confirms what Dr. Lanz demonstrated. Again, think of many elite athletes together with members of the general population who weight train. You have clinical data showing that if you were to start a weight program with your friend or go on Immunocal, it would give you potentially a 10% advantage over your friend or competition. The next aspect of the presentation that I would focus on is immune function. So risks of the cold and the flu, upper respiratory tract infections, increase with increasing exercise intensity. So intense training can suppress the immune system for hours after a hard session. Now imagine a whole team working out together, a group of athletes that may be more fragile than the rest, catch a virus and spreads it to the rest of the team. Then you can overlay this, a lot of programs in swimming, cycling do a lot of their work over the winter during colds and the flu season, and you can project what can occur. And again, to quote Dr. Brian Moore, an athlete who is healthy and well is in the best position to maximize their performance. And supplementing with Immunocal helps optimize immune function. And as we know, whether a virus will manifest as an illness depends on the strength of your immune system, as well as how careful you are not to share the virus. So this could be a significant advantage for both the individual as well as the team. And if we can improve the resilience of this to the said virus and reduce sick days lost, that's a huge advantage for a team because they gain training days. And the last point is something we learned from Oracle's work, in that I would focus on the clinical proof that Immunocal impact on whole blood glutathione. As you know, there's multiple studies. The LAND study showed that we increased it by 35.5%. In his other study in cystic fibrosis, it was on the average of a 38%. And Dr. Nathan Lewis, who's a member of our scientific advisory board and consultant for Oracle, published a paper recently showing that for the first time there's a strong association between these famous free radicals and both illness and injury in elite male rowers. So oxidative stress markers are higher in both ill and injured athletes. Conversely, raising antioxidant defenses was correlated with a reduction in risk of injury and illness. And so identifying these strategies to reduce the risk of illness and injury is the objective of sports science and medicine teams. And that has been a big focus of Oracle's work over the last 10 years. And one of the reasons they use Immunocal as part of their intervention program with the athletes is due to the proven effect on glutathione that our product has and the said benefits for athletes in terms of normalizing that during the winter training. So that's, those are the key areas. As I said, focus on power, and then focus on immune function, and then focus on Immunocal's ability to raise glutathione and the consequences for athletes in terms of risk of illness and injury, and possibly offsetting that.
Amazing. Thank you, John, for...
So Julie, I'm going to throw it back to you now.
Yeah.
You're an elite athlete, you're a working mom. How do you view the product in terms of the sports application?
Thank you. Yeah, it actually really kind of goes back to some points that Mauricio was making just about, being in the world today and being a part of Immunotec is really kind of how I see Immunocal functioning for, the everyday athlete, or, the everyday now, the everyday person who's just, getting outside and walking a lot more, because for many of us, it's kind of the only thing that we can do. I say that, for anybody who's doing any sort of physical activity, I'm not going to say it's just for sports, any physical activity at all, whether you're swimming, you're doing Zumba, whether you're doing orange therapy, with anything, just being a walker, especially during the spring up here in the northern countries, taking your Immunocal helps you live better. It comes down to what you mentioned yourself, reduces that oxidative stress. The body doesn't know where the stress comes from. That's, stress is stress in your body. Your body doesn't know if you created stress, because when you work out, when you train, when you, get into a sport, you are creating a stressor on your body. The body doesn't know where the stress comes from. It just reacts to stress. It doesn't know if it comes from the stress of being at the office. It doesn't know if it comes from the stress of living in this global pandemic that we're all facing and many people are stressed about. The body just knows it's stressed. When you take Immunocal, you reduce that stress load. You reduce the oxidative stress, and you reduce the amount of inflammation. And when you do that, everything settles in your body. Everything has the opportunity to grow. Everything has the opportunity to feel stronger. And it comes with what Mauricio said about living better. It also comes with finding the potential. A lot of people who do train, who do go to the gym, who run, are training for something, are trying to get to a goal. John Solleder can speak to this. People who go to the gym and power lift. It's fun to go and lift heavy things. Apparently, I can't lift anything heavy, but apparently this is something that's fun. But people do this with a goal in mind, right? I want to be able to lift more or add an extra plate. I want to be able to run 42K in 3 months. This is why people oftentimes train and get into sport. And when you take Immunocal, it helps you find your potential, because at the end of the day, the goal is simply the goal. And in today's world right now, all events are canceled, John. The mother, much like myself, working mother, kids at home, family to take care of, signed up for a marathon, to give herself a goal to get her out of the house sometime in her head, working through her body. The races have all been canceled. But, you know, you can still rely on Immunocal and your outdoor training every day all by yourself to help you find that potential. You mentioned 10%. Well, if I'm training for something and I'm getting out there and running every day, you know, at my little mere mortal pace, I'm still looking to better myself. I'm still looking to be the best that I can be tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And, you know, you mentioned 10% from the studies. Well, who doesn't want to find an extra 10% within themselves? That's why we do sport. That's why we participate in sport. That's why John Solleder goes to the gym. That's why even in winter time, John Molson is out there riding his bike, and Immunocal helps us do that. It gives us the opportunity to find that potential within ourselves. And, you know, I think the last one, if I was speaking, when I speak to people about why I take the product, and anybody who's out there listening to John and I is about this, there is a happiness factor that comes from movement. Maurizio said it, John, you mentioned it again. There's a happiness factor there. Right now, sometimes just going for a walk around the block is the only time that we're out of our homes. A lot of us are in self-isolation. A lot of us are not allowed out. In today's world, I think the happiness factor by taking your Immunocal every day as an athlete or weekend warrior, mere mortal, age group, masters, whatever you are, it's important today more than ever, because a lot of people rely on the group fitness class, rely on going to the gym, right? You have that motivation. You're with your lifting buddies, John, right? You're all going to help each other out. John can't go to the gym now. You can't go for the group ride, Mr. Molson. You know, you're literally all by yourself. There's no race on the weekend. There's no group ride happening. We take our Immunocal. You know what? It gives us peace of mind. It gives us that energy. It protects us. And in today's world, I think more than ever, that's super, super important. Take your Immunocal. Reduce the inflammation in your body. Give yourself some peace of mind, because we're going out there or we're staying inside. We're doing it all alone. And that can be extremely, extremely hard thing for people who are used to going to the yoga class, who are used to going to the gym. All of a sudden, we're all confined to our homes. And taking Immunocal does give you that peace of mind that you're doing something that's good for yourself as you try to adjust to a world that no longer, you know, has a race on the calendar, no longer gets you out to the gym in the morning. You know, do it for me, myself, and I. Do it for number one. And I think that taking that Immunocal every day for an athlete is going to make the difference, just in clearing their head and giving them some peace of mind. I don't know how you feel about it, John. I know that you're still trying to get out for your rides every morning, despite everything that's going on in the world. But certainly with everything that you know, the person who reads the research, who sees all the scientific evidence, you know, taking your Immunocal daily must give you some peace of mind as well.
Absolutely. I mean, my whole focus, and actually Oracle looks at this with pro athletes as well, it's your ability to train. And so, you know, as well as your capacity to absorb the training. And so I almost view Immunocal as almost legalized doping. You know, that many of these athletes did illegal doping many years ago, not just because of the immediate effect it gave them, but it gave them the capacity to train harder. And that's what essentially Immunocal does, is it improves your adaptability to absorb the training and gives you more resiliency in terms of the effect of that training on you. So you have a greater capacity. And that's, you know, what Brian Moore said to me many years ago, that we're seeing that in the elite athletes, that Immunocal improves the resiliency of these athletes. And that applies to the athletes, it applies to a house mom, it applies to a female executive, a male executive.
And you know what, John, I'll wrap it up with this. John and Keith, I know we're going over our time, but that today more than ever is very important. Okay, the Olympics got pushed back, so maybe not today more than ever, but you know, for everybody listening, for your common athlete, you know, here at Immunotec, all of us right now, what a blessing. We're working harder than ever. You know, a lot of people have a lot of free time all of a sudden. A lot of people have lost their jobs right now in the world today. And the number one thing that I'm seeing all over the blogs, especially in the triathlon community right now, is that people are at risk for overtraining, because you went from having an hour in the morning to ride your bike, and all of a sudden you have all day to ride your bike. And there's a lot of coaches right now out there in Twitter world, on Blogsphere, saying everybody just kind of calm down, because everybody is putting themselves at risk for overtraining. And with Immunocal, because you reduce that inflammation, you reduce that oxidative stress in your body. We know it's a master antioxidant. We know it reduces, you know, the pains, the aches, the niggles in your body that you get. And everybody right now is kind of going a little bit overboard on the training because they have some time. So, you know, everyone listening, important, make sure that the people you know who are training through this right now to just level out, that they're taking their Immunocal, because to John's point, we know, especially with the work that we're doing with Oracle, the research proves that, you know, we can really kind of reduce that load on the body when people go into a high period of training and increase their load. We want to reduce it in their body so that they avoid injury and they avoid those overtraining symptoms, which are very serious as well. So another thing that our product does. So I think we're going to wrap it up. Any last words, Mr. Molson? They came for you, not for me. So any last words?
Well, you know, to echo what Mauricio said, you know, it's exactly how Dr. Bruno saw it, is changing lives and improving the world. And this is a great tool to do it. So the more we can get out there, the more people we help. That's, you know,
That's
the best thing
one.
we can do in terms of Dr. Bruno's memory.
Well,
I'm going to jump in here, Julie. I'm going to step on you for just a minute. No, you're not done. Hey, John, Solleder, I think we need to have John Molson and Julie come back and let Julie interview John as regarding his working with Dr. Bunos, Dr. Conkshaven, Dr. Droge, and all of that original research. I think some people might really be interested in that.
You know, Keith, I think 2 weeks from today might be a good time to do that. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think that if that works out for John and Julie, we might find out.
Listen, both of these people are elite athletes still. One thing I want to point out, John and Julie are still at it. Okay, a lot of times we think in the athletic world, hey, you know, when you were in high school or college, you were such a stud athletically. They're still at it. They're still competing. They're still training. Julie's always off at a race when I talk to her. John's always on Facebook posting events that he's doing, events he's participating in. John's son, John, I'll give JJ a plug here, just in case there's any NFL scouts out here. John's son, JJ, will hopefully this time next year, hopefully there will be a football season, right, with everything going on. But John's raised a son using Immunocal that is a world-class athlete. He's a world-class kicker. Kicked for UCLA the last 4 years. Will be in the NFL draft here in the next month or so when that happens. So, you know, once again, they practice what they preach, not only personally, but also within their families. I know Julie's raising her son, who's an elite hockey player in Canada. I know he's using Immunocal each and every day. So, you know, once again, now I want to defer for a second. I don't know if she can talk or not. We'll find out real quick, just for 1 quick minute, just a little audible here. Myriam Lamontagne, are you here where you can talk? If you are, just hit the button. I want you to talk for 1 minute. We have an Olympic athlete who's actually with us from Canada. And I don't know if she's going to be able to talk or not.
Can you guys hear me?
We can. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm sorry to do this to you unprepared, but I know you're a great speaker. I know Myriam very well. You know, hey, first of all, sorry what's gone on in the world, certainly. But if you could just share with people, you know, 1 minute or less here, a little bit about your participation, both athletically with Team Canada, and also what your events are in track and field, and also what's happened with you with Immunocal as a real-life example.
Yes, so I participate in the 200, 400 meters. I've been doing this sport for quite some time, graduated from Laval University, and so, yeah, I've been taking Immunocal for quite some time as well. It was a rocky start, but then I got convinced with the results. And obviously now I have other teammates on the national team that are secretly taking Immunotec. When I say secretly, it's because it's a weapon. So they don't want to share their good secrets. But yeah, it has a huge impact, and yeah, I've been taking it for quite some time. I have other athletes now that are taking it as well on a regular basis. And it's definitely very important right now because we're not able to train as hard as we want. And being able to take a product that helps maintain muscle mass is a big one for us. So yeah, in short.
Great, great. Well, thank you, Myriam, and best of luck in 2021. We know the Olympics are going to go on. We know you're going to be there. And we know there's going to be a lot of Team Canada and Team USA and Team Mexico and Team other places where Immunotec is athletes that are using it in their preparation for the games. So thank you again. Sorry to put you on the spot, but I know you're always ready. So
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, John and Julie. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And
Thanks for having us.
We got a couple of great speakers left too.